Hello and welcome to day 2 of Start and Scale Your Coaching Business. Now, this is for if you are a coach of any sort, maybe you're a consultant, maybe you provide services, and you are either looking to start or scale your business. I'm Izzy Nalley. I'll be your host. And if you missed day 1, you can go back and check that out within the group or on YouTube. Those replays will be available for about a week and then we'll be taking them down. So be sure to tune in and catch those replays soon so that you can get all of this information. Today, on day 2, we're starting with attracting your customers because let's be honest, you don't really have a business unless you have customers. So yesterday we talked about starting that foundation and making sure that we have a foundation, a solid foundation, so that when we're about 6 months in, 3 months in, whatever it might be, maybe it's 2 years in, and suddenly that foundation feels really unsteady. It can also happen as you're going along and you're just lacking the clarity and your business is proceeding really, really slow. And some of that might be because your confidence or your clarity is low as well. So go back day 1, talking about your business plan, your business blueprint, and your homework was to write down your personal story from your transformation, maybe that you're coaching on. Now, today, we're talking about how we can attract customers, and we're just going to specifically dive into your branding to attract those customers. But what do we need to know in order to build branding? So many times we get all these messages like branding, there's the visual branding, such as your color scheme. Then there's your own personal brand as far as what do people think of when they think of you. So looking at how do we build that up? Well, it starts with what are you teaching on? But also, what do you want your customers to feel? So in order to do that, we must first know who are our customers. And I mentioned that yesterday, and I'm just going to reiterate again. You must know who your target customers are. In order to build $1 million business and above, which is what I teach, you need to pick a target audience. Now, the only time that we would have varying audiences is, for example, if you're teaching project management, and you know that you could teach finance, you could teach construction, you could teach all these different avenues within project management, and that is the only thing that you're delivering, then that would be different. However, it is going to be the most beneficial for your business to scale if you pick one target audience, so that you can deliver multiple lanes of guidance and coaching to that one person. That way you're not going out and you're trying to search for multiple people. And you're going to see that even more with what we're talking about today. For example, if you know your target audience, let's say, have a lot of issues with weight loss and they're wanting to lose weight. We're just using it as an example. It's a perfect time of year. It's January. That's a lot of people's goals. You might find them in weight loss groups. You might find them in Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers or whatever that. They might be in those groups. They might be in some nutrition groups. So you could go into those groups, such as on Facebook, and you would be able to see who your target audience is and begin to do some research. You could find out what they're talking about, what they're asking about, what posts do they like, so that you can begin to craft your brand. Now, aside from that, if that is your target audience and you're wanting to create a feeling for them, it's your own personal feeling. So your personal brand is going to be mixed a little bit with your business brand. And your brand is super important because you could have someone who's doing the exact same thing as you, and you two have a slightly different way of how you do it. You have different words that you use, different language that you use, maybe a slightly different worldview approach. Even though you could be teaching the exact same thing, your brand would be different than their brand, and your target audience is going to be more attracted to your brand than they are their brand. So this allows you to stand out. Now, that's something else that we really need to talk about today. Is in order for you to attract clients, you have to be there for them to find you. Whether they're searching on Google to find you, whether they are just browsing and you come up in their feed, or a friend recommends them, whether they stumble across your website, you need to be ready for people to find you. Now, just as much as you need to be ready for people to find you, you also have to take an active approach. Let's say I was a soccer or football player, however you approach that word or that sport in high school. And it's not enough just to play defense all the time. It's also not enough just to play offense all the time. You have to have a balance of both. And even if you do more of one than the other one still has to be there. And the same thing is going to happen within your business. You need to take that offense and defense approach. You need to be going and getting them as much as you're ready and waiting for them to come to you too. So you need to be able to be found. Now, that is a struggle for some people because there's this people pleasing, this fear of, oh my gosh, like what if so-and-so thinks this? And people are going to see me as being super salesy, and people are going to like get annoyed with seeing all my stuff all the time. Who has that? So go ahead and comment, say hi if you're just joining. If you struggle with being seen, drop a little comment or an emoji or something like that. Maybe it's an emoji of a phone down below, and let me know. That also helps me in knowing how many of you are really struggling with that, and should we continue talking about that in the upcoming days of this training. So being seen, I didn't really think I had a problem with that. I had no problem getting on camera, and I had no problem doing these little things. But I started noticing during certain times that I wasn't feeling good, or maybe I didn't feel like I looked my best, and I started not getting on camera as much. And the consistency was a little bit of a roller coaster. And if your consistency is not, well, consistent, it's going to be hard for people to see you and to say hi, to comment on your posts, to interact with you. When we are consistent, hi, Monica. When we are consistent, people start to feel safe with us. They start to say, this person's not going away. They are not just a fad. They really are here, and they're here to do this. And how do we motivate ourselves to be consistent? All right, so let's backtrack just a little bit and go over some of the things that we're going to be covering. Attracting clients. We need clients in order to have business. So we want to, one, know who our target audience is. And if you're like, I still don't know who that is, that's really hard decision. And it can be a little scary to go, I'm going to choose this group and to go after them. But what if I don't like this group? Or what if I'm leaving out other people? Well, guess what? It's your business. So you can pursue this group for, I'd say, 3 months. And if you don't have any leads within the first 3 weeks or so, you're not seeing absolutely anything, that might be okay to change. But you can also check in with yourself and how much am I showing up? How much am I actually researching and engaging this group that I'm choosing? Because a lot of times people choose a group and then they sit and they wait for this group to come get them. They wait for this target audience to come to them. And again, you're going to have to take this active approach as well as a passive approach. You have to be ready for them to find you, but you also have to be going out there and talking to people. Now, does it have to be super salesy? No. I hope that you don't see me as salesy, but if you did, that's okay too. You have to be there and be there as an expert. So that's why I'm hosting this 5-day training, is I'm saying, here I am. see me, and know that I'm providing knowledge for you. So doing these lives is one thing that you can do. Posting regularly so that you can show up in search engines is another thing. Making sure that you have stuff for them to land on, such as a landing page and a web page. Now, if you heard me yesterday, landing pages are what you want to get first. Wait until you have your business plan with your services and your products before you create your web page. A web page should be an investment. This is not just something you just pop up and it's like, here's my info. Because if someone comes across a web page, which currently mine is under construction, so if you do go to mine, it is currently in the works, but I've got some new exciting, juicy things to go on there. And you want people to see a good view of you. You want people to see blog posts and see YouTube videos. You should be showing up everywhere, and that can be kind of scary. So you need to recognize why you're not being consistent. Recognize those fears. And if you jump on a call with me, we can work through some of those. So if you do not know me, hi, I'm Izzy. And not only am I a business coach and consultant, and hopefully we know the difference between these two things. So coaching means that I'm pulling the answers out of you. Consulting means I'm giving you my advice as an expert. Yes, I am an expert. I have an MBA in marketing. I have also been through a small entrepreneurship program, which I won a full scholarship to. I've been in business for myself fairly successfully since 2013. Before that, I tried a lot of other things and had a lot of fails. And I love teaching. I've been a consultant in the business world for the past 3 years, pretty actively through consulting companies. And I've owned my own consulting business along with that for the past 3 or 4 years as well. So yes, I am consulting you on my advice of best practices, but I'm also coaching you by helping you pull the answers out of yourself as well. All right. Now, before that, I was a hypnotherapist. Well, I still do hypnotherapy. It's not my full-time job anymore. But mindset is extremely important. And I'm pretty sure you've heard this, right? Who all has heard mindset's really important? Who actively works on their mindset every day? Every day. That could be meditation. That could be journaling. That could be just mindfulness and awareness of what your fears are. So yes, who works on mindfulness? Comment. Who works on their mindfulness? I talk about it a lot. All right. So your mindset and knowing the blocks and at least being open to exploring the blocks is really important with how you show up online. All right. Because you do need to be showing up online. If you are wanting someone to work with you one-on-one, if you're wanting someone to jump on a call with you just to see if you'd be a good fit for each other, aren't you going to feel more comfortable if you've seen this person talking, you've seen their body language, you hear their voice? You're going to be more comfortable jumping on a phone call with me because you know how I talk. You know how I move. You know how I interact. You know how I'm going to teach you because you've now seen me. Versus if you just saw me posting and you never really saw my face and you never saw me talk, you might be a little more reluctant to jump on a phone call with me. All right. So the same thing is going to apply to you. How are you wanting your customers to interact with you? Then you need to be showing up in that way for them in order to help them feel mentally safe, in order to make a purchase through you, with you, to work with you, or even to buy one of your products, right? Like you want to get a sample, you want to get a feel. It's kind of like, I don't know about you, but I really love going to the bookstore. Can we call it a bookie? I don't think that really works, but I love books and I love physical books. Now that doesn't mean that I never buy an ebook or I never read an ebook. I do. However, going into the bookstore and being able to just open up the book and read a couple pages and explore it and hold it in my hands is really important for me. And that might be for you as well. And by showing up online, by having a variety of different content, it allows us to explore the person that we're going to be working with. Now, from the marketing perspective as well, people tend to buy from people. So, you having your face available or having a face available is super important. If you own a company where you're able to step back and be removed and you're managing and you have employees that are the faces of the company, that's beautiful. That is a scalable model. However, there needs to be a face. It doesn't have to be your face, but there needs to be a face of the company. And for us starting up, the least expensive way to do that is for it to be our own face that is showing up with that. Now, you can utilize pictures, and maybe you've seen this happen recently on Facebook ads. There will be a picture and there will be a person that represents the type of person they're trying to attract. Now, those can be really powerful as well. But again, if we want that brand recognition, where you're showing up, everybody's seeing Izzy online, they know that when they see this face talking about something, they know what I'm going to be talking about. They know, what she's talking about on business today, or what is she talking about coaching and packaging up? It's all going to be business related, or mindset, or something like that. I like what she has to talk about. I want to see what she's talking about. They start to recognize my face. Even with my posts, they're going to recognize, and I've done this, I've seen some people doing really, really well lately. And I saw the post, and before I even saw the name of who posted it, I was like, I bet that's so-and-so. And it was. That is brand recognition. Now, when we're looking to attract our customers with our brand, talked a little bit about how we're going to show up, but we want to realize how we want our clients to feel. If you are wanting them to feel happy, energized, empowered, then you're going to be posting photos of happy, energized, empowered. We're going to be coming from a place of optimism rather than pain. That we might talk about the pain points a little bit, but we're giving them a picture of what they can step into. So we're giving them a picture of the life they're craving, of the solution that they're craving. And we can pick colors and words and pictures that represent that. Now, we do want to talk about pain points, but we want to talk about the transformation that can happen. And the reason why we want to do that is because we want to recognize their pain. Yes, we want them to feel validated. But a lot of times when you are in pain, suffering, you have a problem, you can't always think of what life or the solution looks like on the other side of that rainbow. So on the other side, they know the grass has got to be greener on the other side, right? But I don't know what it looks like on the other side, but it's got to be greener. Paint that picture for them of what it looks like. If anybody's into manifestation or visualization or anything of that sort, like we just did vision boards this past Friday, being able to see what it is you're trying to call in, or what it is you're trying to attract, or what it is you're trying to manifest, however you approach that, is really important to be able to see that. Now, I know that because I studied sports psychology, again, previous career before business. And this is what the Olympians are doing. They have to be able to know what they're going to visualize, know what good looks like, and then they sit and they do visualization exercises, and it actually improves their endurance. It actually improves their skill set. So being able to visualize, and in fact, I've got a whole thing. I'm actually writing a book on manifestation and the science behind it and how it really works internally and externally. And one thing that I really did is I didn't know what it was that I wanted to manifest. and I do this exercise ever since, but this is when I discovered it. I was coming out of a really unhealthy relationship, and I didn't know what a healthy relationship looked like. So my job then became to find out what a healthy relationship looks like. And I started collecting all of this. You're going to do the same thing with your business. What does a good, healthy business look like? So this is why it's so important to do your research, which we talked about yesterday, day one. You need to do your research because you need to know what's out there. And when you look and see what's out there, you can pick the pieces that you love and start to form a healthy business. Now, the problem is you're probably just scrolling through social media and you're seeing all of these people that might be doing really well. But you have to keep in mind that it took an evolution process for them to get there. So instead of what does it look like on the outside, actually check in with what their habits are, what their processes are, so that you can start to implement those processes, and you have to experience it. Have you ever signed up for something free and you don't really get any messages? No one's really following up with you. Maybe you signed up weeks ago and you never even got an email. You don't know where to click. You might have already forgotten about it. That's not healthy. That's not going to lead you to business success. So we have to walk through that process of, okay, how is my client going to hear about me? How are they going to find me? And list out all the ways, go ahead, list out all the ways that you want your client to find you. Okay, one of them might be they Google searched what? What did they Google search? So go ahead and type that in the chat. My client's going to find me when they Google search what keywords, what sentence. Go ahead and type it in or write it down. You need to know these things. If you're not sure, then just start journaling, spitting out some stuff. What are they going to be journaling? Or not journaling. What are they going to be searching? What are you going to be journaling? All right. So Google. What are they typing into Google? Okay. Now, when they go to Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, what platform are they going to be on? They might be on a couple. Now, if you're on LinkedIn, you are going to expect a certain quality of posting. You're going to expect certain styles of posting, certain topics, versus on Facebook, you might be expecting other things. On Instagram, you might be expecting other things. Now, this is a tip. When you create content, you can have almost the exact same content. You might post a different picture, or you might just phrase it slightly different. I do this all the time. I post something on Facebook and then I might need to tweak it and make it a little more professional for LinkedIn. If I post it on LinkedIn, it might translate well over to Facebook, but I might need to tweak it and put a little bit more emotion into it, a little bit more everyday life. And then on Instagram, it might be more of a fun photo. It might be less text. So you choose which platform your client is going to regularly be on and when they're going to be on it. And if you're like, oh, that's a lot of posting, guess what? There is scheduling software that will make your life so much easier. And when you are investing in these things, again, if you have your plan first, you feel more secure in purchasing these items because you have your roadmap for why you need it and how you're going to grow through it. So having your tools and automations are extremely important to help you scale. Okay, we talked a little bit about that yesterday. Won't go into it a ton. So we talked about they're going to type it in Google. What are they going to type in to find you? What are they going to find? They're probably going to find social media accounts. They might also find your website. So when they go to your website, what are they going to find on your website? Now, as I mentioned, you do not have to have a website to start out with. You can have a landing page that is super specific. It says, this is what you're looking for. Sign up for my freebie. Oh, by the way, here's some stuff about me. This is how you can book a call with me. That's all that needs to be on there. Because in order to build their trust, right, we're attracting them, we need to know what they are looking for. What are they searching? Where are they hanging out? What are they doing? So that you can be in those places, so that you can have those things. Give them what they want, or no, right? Who knows this comment? Who knows this phrase? Sell them what they want, give them what they need, right? Sell them what they want, what they're looking for. Give them what they need. So they come looking for what they want. And you're going to be like, yeah, you can buy that. By the way, you can tune into my free thing. Okay. So there's a funnel process, which we actually have a freebies and funnel training. And I'm like, I don't want to go too far into that yet. We can talk a little bit about that this week. But it starts getting complex, and you need to have an individual approach to how the funnel system works. So overview, you've got a product, you're selling to this problem. You need to pick a little piece of that problem, of what they think the problem is. You know that there's a bunch more behind it, but what they think the problem is, and approach them with that. Essentially, that's where it goes. All right. My nose is itching. What does that mean? Does it mean someone's talking about me? Or no, is that ears itching? All right. So we're talking about how we attract customers through our branding. Let's review. All right. So you have pictures, you have words that you want associated with your brand, because that is what your target audience is seeking. That's what inspires them. That's what lifts them up. Maybe you've noticed on social media, what do people save and like a whole lot? Positive quotes. Anything that's optimistic, they really, really love it. Or they like funny memes that poke fun at their problems. So get on board, learn your clients, and start figuring out what are these things that they are tuning into, they're liking, they're commenting on. You could be posting and it could be super relevant, but are they commenting? Are they interacting? And how you find that out is by going to the places where they already are and finding out what other people are doing that is getting them to comment and post on those. All right. Now, in that, your brand, you need to be consistent with your brand. You will see on my brand, I've got the navy blue, I've got the light blue, I've got this gold color, I've got the black, and I tend to do these boxes. So hopefully when you see that, you're going to think of me. Now, when you hear keywords that I want you to be associated with me is business, starting, scaling, coaching, how to, branding, marketing. Like, I want those words associated. So I need to be showing up online and constantly have those words in your face so that you can type them in. I also want you to know, hey, I'm Izzy. When you type in Izzy and business, hopefully I pull up because I'm taking up space. This is key. A lot of us, especially women, not saying that men don't experience this too, we are fearful of taking up space. We're fearful that if we take up space, we are crowding the room and other people won't tune in to other people, that we're taking the spotlight away from others, or maybe that we don't want the spotlight on us because it feels boasting. There's lots of different reasons why we might feel like we don't want to take up room, but for your branding, for your business, you need to take up room. Why? Because there is a lot of noise out there. And ultimately, you have to stop the scroll, or at least you have to be in the scroll so much that they're like, I keep seeing this. What is it? People are going to need to see you about 19 times before they're even going to consider. Okay, 19 times. Unless you've got a title that just really is pow in their face, calling to them, makes them feel like you're speaking to them, that you're going to need to be in their face 19 times. And that's just to get them to the next stage. I heard a talk yesterday. I was talking about business, which we know this, right? Business is like dating. You go in and you're like, hey, you don't know me. Will you marry me? And most people are going to go, no, that's a very large commitment. I'm not ready for that. But, what's your name? Who are you? What do you do? So we need to approach that. Someone's meeting you for the first time. You're having the first impact on them. Is it a positive one? Is it a negative one? Even if you are putting your voice out there, I'm sure we've all heard negative publicity is still publicity. It's still good. We might have heard people say that on a movie or something like that before. And that's the truth. That if you get out there, you put your opinion out there, even if people are down liking your videos on YouTube, whatever it might be, guess what? They know you exist. And within marketing, it starts with no, then they like you, then they trust you. And I have even done this before where I've watched someone, I didn't fully agree with everything that they were saying, but I saw that they were still the expert. They were still doing really, really well. And I still wanted to learn from them, even though I didn't agree with everything that they said, even though they made me roll my eyes a whole lot. I still saw them as the expert and I still knew who they were. And sometimes by not liking some of the things that people do, we remember them even more. So don't be scared of people not liking everything that you have to say. You need to have an opinion as a business. Okay. Now, as we start to wrap up, I want to ask you again, when they type in Google, I'm going to keep saying that. I say that to my clients all the time. When they type in Google, what are they looking for? You have to know this. But I also want to ask you, as homework was yesterday, to write your story. Is your client's story going to be similar to yours? And that's a yes or no question. If it's going to be different, then you need to write out, what is their story going to be like? Where are they starting? Where are they ending? Maybe it's slightly different than your story. What are those key things that they are going to have to do, learn, be exposed to in order to have the mindset shift or whatever other shifts that they need to have? It's always going to be a mindset shift, at least, to get from point A to point B. Now, when you're designing a coaching program, we are not trying to solve every single problem. And this is where, if you know your target audience, it's a beautiful thing. You can have, here's step A to B, here's B to C, here's C to D. Or maybe you have some bigger spaces in there. But we are not trying to solve every single problem in one coaching program. A lot of coaches try to do this, and it gets them stuck because they're trying to figure out, how in the world am I going to teach all of this in this program? There's so much that they have to learn. Okay, well, if they're going to accomplish 100-pound weight loss, how are they going to lose the first 10 pounds? Losing the first 10 pounds is going to be different than losing the following 20 to 50 pounds. There's going to be things that they need to know right then to get them started. Same thing within your business. In the business, what you need to do to start in your first phase is going to be slightly different than your second phase and your third phase. If I'm coaching someone that has made $0 and they just need to get their first client, I'm going to teach you a little bit different than I'm going to teach the person who has already had 5 or 10 clients, and we need to tweak and adjust. So forming your package and then tweaking your package is going to be slightly different. Our conversations are going to be a little different. Such as we did in this past training program, we were walking through how to set up a coaching call and what that coaching call looks like. And for some people, it was a little bit more on the research side, while others, it was perfecting their system. We can all start and do the same things, but you have to keep coming back and keep coming back and tweaking and adjusting and perfecting. So that's why I've put this start to scale all at the same time to get you started and let you know that in order to scale, these are the same things that you're going to have to do. And if you're trying to scale, go back and make sure that you haven't missed some gaps or you need to refine some items as well. Go look at your social media profiles. And if you were to click on your Facebook group, your Facebook page, your Facebook personal profile, wherever you're interacting most, if someone was to click on that and scroll through it, are they able to determine what it is you do, who you help, and why you do it? If they're not, you might have a problem. Doesn't mean it has to be absolutely perfect. Nope. But they need to get a hint of it. And I say that because I see so many people who I click on their social media profile and I scroll and I'm like, I'm not really sure what they do or how they're unique or what their style is. I'm not really sure what's going on here. So have that available, and we can talk more about these profiles and what should be on there if you'd like. So if you want to know more about that, if there's certain area or certain question that you have, be sure to drop that in the comments so that we can talk about it. I'm here for you all. I'm here to help you start and scale your business. Genuinely here. I know there's a ton of coaches out there that they say they're there and they're just kind of like, oh, but I'm just so focused on making money and getting you in my program. If you are not ready to join the program, I'm going to give you some tips to get you to the point where you could join the program. But I'm not just going to put anyone in my program. I have learned my lesson on that. You don't just throw anyone in it. It is not about the sale. It's about the success. And that is my vision and mission. I am all about having people create successful businesses. And that is why I do in my program, we've got the Millionaire Mindset, and there's recordings, and I'm always recording new ones because your mindset is so important. It is what stops so many people. Stops so many people because we have these underlying fears that we are not aware of, or we're lacking the clarity. So within the Millionaire Marketing Makeover, we talk about three main things. That is clarity, consistency, and confidence. When we get the clarity that we need, which only happens after you make a commitment, then the clarity starts to allow the consistency to happen. So if you are not clear, we need to get you clarity. It will be so much easier. I promise. I promise it'll be so much easier to start showing up consistently. And then when you show up consistently, that breeds confidence. So many people go, I'm not confident enough to do it. The confidence comes after you do it. The confidence comes after you're doing it consistently. So don't go into this thinking, I'm just going to show up online and I'm going to be super confident. Nope. Any coach I know, if they go back and watch, including myself, go back and watch videos of me 2 or 3 years ago, and you will see a dramatic difference. Dramatic difference. And the same thing, even anytime I go to teach something new, get a little nervous and everything else. And the only way I'm going to build it up is if I practice. And there's practicing alone, and then there's practicing live. Guess what? This live will get buried in a couple of weeks. It will get buried and you will not even hardly be able to find it. There's a chance someone might come across it, but most likely you're not even going to find it anymore. So don't create content and think, oh, I created it once, it's out there. Unless you're resharing it all the time, you've got to keep yourself relevant within the feed. All right. So today we're talking about attracting customers with your branding. I'm Izzy Nalley. Thank you for joining me. So, just a little summary of what we've been talking about. We've been talking about how we utilize our branding to attract the customers. We build our branding by one, knowing who our customer is, knowing what feelings that we want to create for them, and what is the solution that they're really looking for their problem. If they're wanting to feel happy and excited and inspired, or maybe they're seeking connection and clarity. Maybe they're wanting more calm and mindfulness in their life. Depending on which one of those or anything else, there's going to be certain colors that are associated with that as well. Such as, I'm really about taking the noise and bringing it into simplicity. So, a lot of my branding is very simple because I want to communicate simplicity. Now, I do tend to have a lot of noise. You can see my big colorful wall because there's a ton of noise out there. There is a ton of noise. There's a ton of, you need this email marketing system, you need a freebie, you need this, you need that. And we can get really distracted. And it prevents us from forming that foundation, which we talked about yesterday. And we need to keep showing up and showing up consistently with our brand, with the images, with the colors, with the words, and with our message. So know why you're doing what you do and who it's for. As you know why you're doing what you do and you talk about that, and you talk about who your marketing is for, you will start to gain their attention. By putting these words in your social posts, by showing up and having videos talking about what you're talking about, this will start to put you in the algorithms. This will start to, when people type in these keywords, you're going to start popping up. But you have to do this consistently. Even if you want to take a 2-week vacation, which I plan on doing this year, I'm going to have my social media posts crafted out ahead of time so that I don't forget or I don't get somewhere where there's no Wi-Fi. I'm going to have them all scheduled out so that that's still happening while I'm doing what I do. Now, if you are looking to figure out a way to craft your business around the lifestyle that you want, we do have an upcoming webinar on that. I believe it's next week. You can go to izzynalleymarketing.com at izzynalleymarketing.com, and you will see the list of all the webinars and free stuff that is coming up for us to be able to connect and for me to be able to support you as you start and scale your business. Thanks for joining, and I will see you tomorrow.